Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen, and as always, I want to thank you very much for the continued support. The support that you continue to render to this channel is just amazing. To those who have subscribed to our channel, those who take their time to watch our videos, those who like them, those who share them, I take all this with a measure of humility. In case you are here for the first time, again, I want to request you to take a moment and subscribe to our channel. Click the notification bell and please don't forget to like our videos. The more you like them, the more YouTube will recommend them to other viewers. Now, dynasties are regrouping against William Samoei Ruto. Will William Ruto survive the storm that is coming? William Ruto is the one who condemned the dynasties into political obscurity because while ascending to power, while trying to campaign to ascend to the presidency, William Ruto campaigned very vehemently against the dynasties. And he managed to use one cardinal rule. He set the common man up against the dynasties. Because when William Ruto was campaigning, he made three serious allegations against the dynasty. And in this case, dynasty, William Ruto explained that they are the three founding fathers of the nation. The Kenyatta family, who is the first president of Kenya. The Odinga family, who was the first vice president of Kenya. And the Moi family was the second president of Kenya. And so William Ruto managed to level three allegations against the dynasties, which somehow sunk into the heads of his common hustlers. Number one, William Ruto accused the dynasty families led by Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, and Gideon Moi of trying to perpetuate their kingship in Kenya and blocking any other person to become a leader in this country. And William Ruto told Kenyans that it was high time that they condemned and vote them out so that they could welcome fresh blood of a peasant farmer, a daughter or a son of a peasant farmer who understands their plight to lead the nation. The second, in fact, on this, William Ruto said that it was on this light that BBI was brought to ensure that Uhuru Kenyatta did not go home, that Raila perpetuated his leadership, and that Gideon Moi was given a share. He said that these people are hell-bent on creating positions to themselves. And I remember, ladies and gentlemen, there was a serious discussion about the tenure of Uhuru Kenyatta, because many had alleged that Uhuru Kenyatta wanted to become a prime minister if the BBI passed, and then Raila Odinga was to become president, and then Gideon Moi was to be given either a deputy president or a deputy prime minister. So William Ruto set them up against wananchi who thought that this was impossible. The second thing that William Ruto said about the dynasties is that these are the cream of the society who are born and brought up in state house, enjoying bread and butter. And in fact, William Ruto said that at some point, he himself tasted going to school without shoes and going to school in an empty stomach. Ruto accused the dynasties of people who have never tasted the pangs of hunger and the pain of poverty. And William Ruto explained to Kenyans that he was the man who could lead them because he understands what they are going through. And so, ladies and gentlemen, with all this, William Ruto managed to capture the attention of the hustlers. And the last thing that he said was that the three dynasties, Raila Odinga, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and Gideon Moi, had colluded to take high the prices of basic commodities, so higher than the reach of the poor man. And William said that when he got power, he was going to help them reduce the prices of basic commodity. In fact, he presented himself as the only man who was going to deliver them from the shackles of abject poverty. Because apparently, Raila Odinga had assumed the role of a man who was speaking on behalf of the downtrodden, on behalf of the common man. But after the handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto made it look like Raila had relinquished his position kama mtetezi wa watu, and William Ruto saw an opportunity, a vacuum, and he jumped there very fast to fill the position, and he camouflaged as the savior of Kenyans. And so when Kenyans listened to him, they thought this was the man who could help them. And so he intensified these claims to the end, and on the voting day, he made sure that he condemned all the dynasties to political oblivion. Raila Odinga did not see light of the day. He didn't become the president, whether legitimately or illegitimately, a discussion that I don't want to get into. But he didn't become the president of Kenya. Uhuru Kenyatta, with his Jubilee party, had lined a number of candidates, those who contested and vied under the umbrella of Jubilee. Not even a single one. In fact, over 99% of the central voters painted Mount Kenya yellow, with the UDA party taking everything from the MCA to the presidency. And Gideon Moi is the man who I sympathize with. He vied to be a senator in Baringo. He did not get the light of the day. He was humiliated. And then their only hope as the Moi family was Raymond Moi, who had vied to be a member of parliament in Rongai constituency in an election that had been postponed. William Ruto sent his luminaries and the brigade, the entire UDA brigade, the Kenya Kwanza team, pitched camp in Rongai, and they ensured that Gideon Moi was sent to his political obscurity, never to be seen again. And ladies and gentlemen, after all this, Ruto knew that he was home and dry. And the day of swearing in, when he took oath of office and said, "So help me God," and put that Bible down, he knew there was nothing, there was not any iota of dynasties in the society. Little did he know that the dynasties went and sat down and they underwent a political metamorphosis, and now they have come back very much strong, rejuvenated, ready to take on Ruto. What will happen? Why are they grouping, ladies and gentlemen? And what does this portend for the politics of Kenya? Will William Ruto survive, or will the dynasty fall again? And that is what I want to look at. Now, these dynasties, the dynasties are a group of wealthy politicians. Their fathers were there before. They inherited the leadership of their fathers, and they have made wealth. They are into businesses. So these dynasties have decided to come together to protect their businesses. Because William Ruto succeeded in defeating them politically. And William Ruto is a very smart and shrewd politician. He might as well be thinking of interfering with them, their resources and their wealth. Because when you want to finish a man, when you want to finish someone's power, you first cut down and cut off the sources of money, sources of his wealth. And these dynasties have really invested heavily in Kenya. If you look at Uhuru Kenyatta and the Kenyatta family, they have a number of businesses that they control in Kenya. Among them is the milk processing company. We have Tuzo and Brookside and all a few. They want to protect with their sweat this business because they have invested heavily on it. The other day, I heard that Ruto wanted to allow importation of milk from Uganda. And this would mean that the competition, the monopoly that the Kenyatta family has been enjoying will no longer be there. And they are worried. They are worried about this. If you look at the Odinga family, and they control a number of businesses. Among them is the mechanical engineering one that is making the gas cylinders. I think East African Spectrum, if I'm not wrong. For a number of years, Raila has controlled, or his family has controlled, he has enjoyed monopoly on this. And I don't know whether the sources are credible. I heard that there's someone, a businessman is coming, an investor, I think it is either from Dubai or Qatar, and he wants to set up the same business so that they will be competing for customers. And this will deny the Odinga family this opportunity of monopoly. Gideon Moi and Moi family have also invested in very many businesses, real estate and all that. They are also in the media industry. I think they have a largest share of shares in Standard. When during the inauguration ceremony, the government denied the local media an opportunity to live stream directly, it raised a lot of eyebrows because the Kenyan media were taking signals from DSTV. DSTV is a South African-based industry. And so the dynasties understand that the government can still go and interfere with their businesses by bringing competitors, but by denying them a conducive environment, starting investigation into maybe tax compliance. Very many things can happen. And so the dynasties do not want to go to a slumber, because for William Ruto, you have a wink and you are gone. He is a smart politician, and whether you like him or not, this guy is very calculative. And this is the reason that why they are coming together. Because in one of the burial ceremonies in Kisumu County, I saw the dynasties represented. Raila Odinga presided over a burial ceremony of one of the Luo Council of Elders, Mzee Okoth, Akoth, I think. And I saw Jeremiah Kioni. Jeremiah Kioni is the chairman of the Jubilee Party from Central Kenya. He was not alone. Minor Commander was there, and I saw Peter Kenneth. These are Azimio luminaries. And when I saw Jeremiah Kioni, I saw the shadow of Uhuru Kenyatta and the Kenyatta family. Then I saw Nick Salat. Nick Salat is the Secretary General of KANU Party, and I knew that was the shadow of Gideon Moi and the Moi family. So when I watched them together, and of course Raila Odinga represents the Odinga family, I knew they are up to something. So whether William Ruto will survive is something that we want to wait and see. And ladies and gentlemen, the dynasty is preparing for 2027. As I have indicated, each and every family has got a party. The Odinga family controls the ODM. The Kenyatta family now have decided to get grip of Jubilee, and of course KANU is being controlled by the Moi family. As I said, I sympathize with Moi because with William Ruto coming from the Rift Valley, and he's got his UDA party, it will be very difficult for Gideon Moi to try and wrestle the support from that side. Raila Odinga is okay because he still has almost 99% of the Luo's following ODM. And of course, if you look at the Jubilee, most of the members, and Jeremiah Kioni alluded to something, that they were rigged out of their victories. And people like Commander are people who still want to galvanize. They are trying to consolidate support. People like Kabando, they're looking at members of parliament who still believe that they were rigged out, or who believe that there was a lot of UDA euphoria in Central, and that there was a lot of they were voting to punish Uhuru Kenyatta because they had been made to understand that Uhuru Kenyatta neglected them. And they are trying to prepare themselves. And when you want to prepare, you prepare as early as now. William Ruto started preparing for 2022 in the year 2017. So they have to ensure that their parties are intact. They are looking at monthly submissions by their members. William Ruto has succeeded, ladies and gentlemen, in buying the loyalty of those who are elected under Azimio certificate. You've seen David Ochieng coming from Siaya County, where Raila is coming from, and he switched camps and is now uh, dining on the same table with William Ruto. The members of the UDM party from Northeastern have changed their allegiance and they are now in Kenya Kwanza. William Ruto has not stopped there because I have seen what the chairman of the UDA party is doing, Johnson Muthama. In one of the tweets, he said that he wants to unite everyone under the umbrella of William Samoei Ruto. And the following day, after saying those words, he was with Miguna. So William Ruto is still trying to make sure that he rocks the ODM party, that he rocks the Azimio One Kenya Alliance. So the Dynasties just want to ensure that the members that are there feel protected, because when the general is not there, they are vulnerable. They can easily be taken away. So they have come together and they want to coalesce around Raila Odinga. And I think they want Raila to lead the fight, and they will be looking at who to hand over the powers. I believe they still want to consolidate, but come 2027, I have a feeling that Martha Karua and Kalonzo Musyoka will carry the banner of Azimio. There is also a possibility that if you lie there, even the laws, they will be, because we have the Political Parties Act. If you sit there idle for 5 years, all your members could go, and then you will find yourself that you don't even meet the threshold. I don't know the threshold as it's stipulated within the Political Parties Act, but you have to be vigilant. You have to be very active so that you can provide an alternative leadership. And you will see this happening in central Kenya. If they don't get, because I've realized that people like Rigathi Gachagua are no longer talking about the coffee farmer, the pyrethrum, and all this. So it is something that we wait and see as Jubilee prepares to give an alternative leadership in Central Province. The dynasties also want to ensure that they take part in ensuring that they check this government. You see, if you leave the government to carry on unilateral decisions, then you are bound to fail. Currently, the tenure of the IEBC chairman, the other two commissioners, have elapsed. I think by January they will be going home. And William Ruto has been mandated by the constitution to preside over replacement of the chairman and those two commissioners. And I explained in one of my analyses that the IEBC Act under Article 7 or 20 gives Ruto the latitude to manipulate and install someone that he wants. And I heard Jeremiah Kioni saying that they are not going to sit back and watch another Chebukati being installed. This is in line or in light of the allegations that their victory was stolen from them. So they want to make sure that they keep this government, they check this government, whatever the government does, making sure that the sanctity of the law and the constitution is respected so that the government does not mutilate the constitution, making sure that the government will not interfere with their party members, making sure that the government will not intimidate them, and in the process they will be politically relevant. They will ensure. I heard the other day that they were talking of appointing or creating shadow ministers to check every ministry and how they will be working. And you know, Raila Odinga loves working, or should I say just loves working as an opposition, where he reveals secrets that you even wonder where he gets them from. There was another joke some years back, that when Raila tells you that your wife is expectant, don't ask where from. Just go and start buying napkins. So now that he is in the opposition with his hands free, he will be leading this opposition, and he will make sure that is a thorn in the flesh of this government. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you this. The same doors that William Ruto used to take dynasties down is the very dose that they want to employ to finish him. Because at the center of his campaigns then, William Ruto used unga, and fuel. It was, we need to bring down the prices of basic commodities. And he said it was 100 days. You all know they have said it is now 3 months, and now they're looking for 1 year. The other day I saw people begging for food, and they were being given 1 packet of maize flour in Kiambu. This does not portend well, ladies and gentlemen. And the president has said that Kenyans should give him time because they have invested heavily in fertilizer. The only question that they have refused to answer is what we are going to do within this very 1 year. Because I'm really waiting for that 1 year, and I hope we are going to have bumpy harvest. But within this 1 year, what will happen? How I hope that the president would have, retained the subsidy on food for just 1 year, so that we, even if we don't buy unga at 100, maybe 120, because many Kenyans are languishing in abject poverty, ladies and gentlemen. And I know if you are not the one who feels the pain of high prices of basic commodities, it is your friend or your relative. I believe that the dynasties want to go around, as I've always mentioned, and they will be reminding Kenyans that I told you to elect Raila Odinga. We told you to elect Azimio, but you decided to go otherwise. And so every choice has got consequences. So this is the medicine that they use, ladies and gentlemen. They took over, they grabbed this role of opposition, and William Ruto played an opposition within government, and he told them that it is high time that we kick the opposition out because we cannot even afford to live, we cannot even afford a meal a day. And this is what the dynasties are doing. Their pockets are oiled, ladies and gentlemen. They will be giving out money. They will be visiting people, for example, when they come to Mama Mboga, they will give Mama Mboga some 200 shillings. They want to do exactly what Ruto was doing. This Unga revolution, ladies and gentlemen, it is something that must be tackled. An empty stomach, a man on an empty stomach can easily go to the street. A man on an empty stomach is vulnerable. And so I believe that William Ruto is working on something because the situation is dire. It is unmanageable. There are people who literally go without food, I'm telling you. And I believe this government has got the intelligence report and they understand what people are going through. If they don't speak, and I always say this, then the opposition will speak and the voice of the opposition will be louder. This time round, there is no excuse. We are calling upon our president to do something. As we wait for this 1 year, as he promised, we should get some subsidy within this period, and we will really appreciate. If this does not happen, I'm telling you, opposition will take over and they will be reminding people that this man should be voted out. And did you know that William Ruto is now a dynasty? He has become the vice president of Kenya 2 terms, the deputy president, and is now the president of Kenya. So when Charlene Ruto, because I can see Charlene preparing, I hope I pronounced it well, when she vies, I don't know whether we will also remind her that she is a dynasty. So ladies and gentlemen, will William Ruto survive the opposition storm? Will he survive the storm of the dynasty? As always, I have just given my thoughts. I would like to hear from you, ladies and gentlemen. Let us go to the interactive session and tell me what you think. And thank you for listening. Let's meet in another video.